Hi, I want to welcome everyone to our first show of the New England Racing Show. We will be talking about local racing. I'm the host, Bill Sturgis. I've been involved in racing for about 36 years in one way or another. Not racing myself, but behind the scenes working at tracks. And my sons race, and I see that, we watch TV and NASCAR, and we see Daytona and all the stars, and I think to myself, geez, there's so many young kids and even older people racing around this area that don't get the publicity, and I think they need to get that. So I approached Manchester TV about doing the show, and they thought it was a pretty good idea. One of the guys here told me that his father raced at Hudson Speedway. So, you never know when you're going to meet a fellow racer or someone involved in racing. Just to show you what a hotbed New Hampshire is, besides New Hampshire Speedway, we have 10 oval tracks in New Hampshire and a drag strip, New England Dragway. And just to compare with Massachusetts, they have one racetrack. So it just shows you how much racing there is in this area. We want to visit with local racers every week. That's what this show's about. Take you to meet those people. They'll tell you about their racing career, how they started, what they're going to do this year, and show you their car. And I know they don't want to reveal too many secrets, but you'll get to visit their race car shop and see how things are done behind the scenes and all the hard work that they put into what they do every week. I mean, these racers, you see them on TV, Tony Stewart, Joey Logano. Well, there's a lot of Joey Loganos around New England, and a lot of these kids are 24 years old, and they've been racing since they were 6 years old. So they're already veterans, and their whole life is racing. And when they started at 6 years old, their families encouraged them, and it's been a family sport. It's just a wonderful sport to get into, and we want to bring it to you viewers. So what we're going to do is we did a visit with our first racer. His name is Steve Dickey, and he races out of Hudson, New Hampshire. He also owns a graphic design business. He does lettering on cars and pictures of cars to make decals, and he's going to show us how he does that. He's also going to show us a race car he's working on and talk about his racing career. So let's go and visit with Steve. Hi, this is our first show for New England Racing Show, and we are doing a visit to Danger Design, and this is Steve Dickey. He's the owner of Danger Design, and he's going to show us how he does graphics for race cars, and also he does t-shirts and wraps for wrapping cars. So he's going to give us the ins and outs of how you do the graphics. Welcome, Steve.
Nice to have you here.
Thanks for coming. And we're going to turn it over to you a little bit and tell us about how you do graphics, and show us a printer that's going to be coming out in a few minutes. Okay?
Well, this here is what I basically do all my graphics on, other than the design portion. This is what the end result comes out of. Within a few minutes here, this thing will start printing a small sample print for you all to see.
And what's this up here? This is a picture of a...
This is what I call a race head. It's this is what you can put on the wall of your children's bedroom. This here happens to be a New Hampshire native, Joey Pole, and if your kid has a famous racer that they want on their wall, or anybody, I can take a photo and turn it into art for walls of garages, walls of children's bedrooms, walls of your living room if you want.
And you can make that any size?
Sky's the limit.
So you can make a smaller one that people can put on their truck or whatever as advertising?
Correct, I currently do that for most of the local racetracks. Actually, all the local racetracks in New Hampshire I do that for already.
Great. I see some T-shirts hanging here.
Yep, there's
Why
a
don't you
couple.
explain how you do the T-shirts?
This machine here prints the shirts, and it's directly to the shirt. I can do shirts from anywhere from 1 to 1 million, I guess you should say. And you know, you can do them on dark colors. There's a racing shirt there. We have a few more racing shirts we can show you.
So if somebody's got a race car team, they can come to you with their pictures of their race cars.
And you end up with something like this. This happens to be my personal shirt from last year.
And I see that's a modified on the bottom.
Yeah, that's a Star Speedway E-Keys for Cars modified, they call them. It's basically a tour type modified, about 630 horsepower, open wheels, 13 inches of tire.
Yeah, these are the asphalt modifieds, which are they call them the ground pounders.
It's pretty much the same car that you would race at Loudon.
Jimmy Russell's.
It's another New Hampshire person that I do their shirts for. This is Star Speedway's shirt.
You do shirts for Star?
Yep.
Great. Okay, now what is this machine here?
This is an Epsom shirt color. This is the latest and greatest technology they just come out with within the last couple months. One of the first people to have it. And it's just supposed to have very bright, vivid colors, long lasting.
And this will print out, what is it, will print out like that?
It'll print pretty much anything you can put on your computer screen. It will print it.
Any size?
This is 64 inches wide, but size everything can be tiled, or it can be, you know.
So if somebody comes to you with a race car and they want different graphics like lightning or whatever, you do that on your computer? Is that how you do it? And then you print it out?
Yep, I design the stuff upstairs, and basically I send it down to this printer down here, and it comes out. And then I roll it up, I laminate it, and either apply it or send it off to the customer.
I think it's better if you apply it.
Most of the time, it ends up happening.
I've seen where we've gotten lettering and you try to put it on a round surface or something and you have a lot of problems. So how do you do something like that?
Just a lot of finesse and usually a little bit of heat.
Oh, okay. Oh, sounds like it's ready to print now.
It is. It's gonna start before I take it for a second to see it.
Looks like a pretty expensive machine.
Yes, it is. It's up there on the price.
That's what you need nowadays to...
You got to keep up with the Joneses.
Yep. So as far as this photo up, this sticker up here, you said you can take the pictures of someone's car, or they can bring you a picture? How does that work?
Most of the time, they will have the photographer from the track send me a photo, and I will transfer it into digital art, and then I will print it out.
Great.
Do not recommend taking a photo with your cell phone and sending it to me, because that usually does not come out as crisp and as clear. This photo here happens to be done by a professional photographer, Eric LaFrench. He actually does a radio show called Victory Lane. I believe it's Victory Lane Radio or Victory Lane Forums Radio or something like that. And he's also a photographer, and we work side by side for stuff like this.
Looks like it's ready. you been pretty busy this winter doing?
So I've been
Graphics.
starting to pick up. This is my busy season. Everybody's hustling to get their race cars ready, and so they'll be able to edit out all the nonsense of waiting. They'll just go in there.
I was thinking. And this is a picture of what?
This is a picture of my proposed design for my 2013 modified. We don't currently have our plans 100% in effect, working out sponsorship details and schedules and stuff like that. But we do have a major sponsor actually, which is a Manchester business, which is Old School Choppers.
Well, with a little luck, you'll be racing a modified this year. Okay. So we'll look for this modified, and will you be racing at Star at all? Star Speedway?
Depending on what comes about sponsorship, we are going to do. Ideally, I would like to run the full Wayland schedule, but depending on finances, we will either do the Star Speedway and some MRS racing, which is a local New Hampshire-based
A modified racing series.
modified racing series, and or we'll do some Star Speedway racing.
Now, the modified racing series, is that, are the engine rules much different than the Whelen modifieds?
They do have some engine rules that are similar, but they also have options that you can run less expensive, which is a steel-headed motor, which is a little less expensive to build than the Tour motors, than the Whelen Tour motors. But you can run a Whelen Tour motor in the MRS with a smaller carburetor.
Oh, what size carburetor do you have to run?
For the steel-headed open motors, you have to run a carburetor is unlimited. For the aluminum-headed motors, you have to run a 390 carburetor, which is very similar to what they had run in the Nextel, or what do they call it now, Sprint Cup series, but now they're all fuel injected, so that's no longer what they run.
Well, that's one nice looking car coming out here.
Yeah, I tend to get a little wild when it's my own thing. I have never actually put anything wild on one of my own cars yet, but hoping that I get that opportunity this year.
And that car will surely stand out in the field.
Let me just advance it when it's done. Let me get a shot of it.
You have to.
Oh, let's go.
Boy, what a beautiful car. This special seat for his race car, and he's going to explain a few things about how you get a seat fitted for your body, and why you need different seats for different types of cars. Steve?
This seat here is NASCAR has mandated to have an SFI rating for their new seats for all their touring series. You start off by either going to a trade show or going right down to Randy LaJoy's shop in Concord, North Carolina. and you get fitted to the seat. They have a fixture that comes around you and basically hugs you and figures out has all the measurements, and then you send them you do that, and then you hand them a little bit of money. It's a quite expensive seat, and usually within 3-4 weeks you get this beautiful piece of artwork, I call it back, all the beautiful welding on it, and really holds you in the car, and it's really meant for high standards of safety.
And that's an aluminum frame?
That is all aluminum frame. This is all what they call Carbon X material. So what they did is so it withstand fire around your head. If you get in an accident, your car's on fire. This is meant to save you a little bit of, give you a little more time.
And it's really well padded too.
Yep.
Well, I guess different types of cars need a different type of seat, right? For like a midget, you need a seat that's more upright.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the size of the driver and what the driver wants to be, how the driver wants to sit. I like my back to be sitting straight up and my legs to be at a significant angle. Just I'm tall, and it's hard for me to get in those smaller vehicles, so I'm a little particular on how my seat is.
And we notice that a lot of times when you buy a race car from somebody, a used race car, they'll take the seat out and they'll use it on their other race car because the seat is made for that person.
Correct.
And you'll buy a car without a seat and you'll take your seat or have a new one made, and it's like you take your seat with you.
Yeah, your seat is like your shoes. You know, I mean, you never sell your shoes. You never give them away. Like, you always keep that seat.
Yep.
Unless you happen to change. Kids growing up, they change a lot of seats. But actually, Randy LaJoy has a setup where with the kids growing up, he actually takes the seats back and will refit them as long as they have not been cut or altered from them.
Oh.
He'll take them back, and he has like a trade-up program. He'll take the seat, and he'll build you a new seat for an additional cost.
Great.
I'm at a point now where the only way I'm growing is in the.
Yeah, and you can't. So you have your built-in padding.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to go visit your race car now, which is in the next shop over. So we'll go look at that.
Right.
We're here with Steve, and he's going to show us his fire suit, the safety features and the designs that are on here, and also his helmet, which has a really nice paint job on it, and how he did that. Okay, Steve.
Well, this here is my double-layer SFI made in USA fire suit. This is the design I did myself here at Danger Designs, and yeah, it's a little wild. I tend to be noticed when I wear it, but it's made out of Nomex. Has the extra material in the cuffings, pockets, just like the NASCAR guys wear. So they go over your boots. They call boot cut. It has all my sponsors on it: Old School Choppers, Sterling Wear of Boston, which are both New Hampshire based. Sterling Wear of Boston's obviously Boston based, but they have a store in Nashua, New Hampshire. And Old School Choppers is right in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I got some associate sponsors on the sides. And then just a major thing here, made in USA.
It's got pockets on the side. And your helmet?
Yeah, this helmet here is pretty much designed kind of by me and Daryl from Candyman Custom Painting in Derry. We work hand in hand together, and we came up with this, and it's a little over the top, like my fire suit. So
let's see, what is that? That is just a magnificent paint job.
These here, I don't have the Hans device with me, but these are the clips for what they call a Hans device. Is supposed to keep you. It's a head and neck restraint when you have high speed impacts.
And it keeps your head from snapping forward.
Keeps your head from snapping forward and snapping at certain angles. As anybody that knows anything about racing, that's pretty much how Dale Earnhardt died. Is that his head moved so fast that his brain smashed in front of his head, and that's what pretty much killed him instantly.
And what's
this is here is for the these are my racing gloves. They're just basic dirty racing gloves made of Nomex. This is my wire. I can talk back and forth to. I have a spotter, my crew, And
So does the helmet come with a microphone in it?
no, you have to. There are a couple companies now doing that, but this one here, you have to have that installed by whatever company you choose to use. I use Racing Electronics. They're in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. See, there's a lot of details on that fire suit.
Actually, have a Manchester chopper company, Vegas.
Recording.
Okay, here we are in Steve's race car shop, and behind us is his late model Sportsman car, and it's a work in progress. He's got it up on jacks, and right now the engine is being worked on, and he's going to explain a few things about the car. Steve?
Yeah, this is actually an old ACT late model, but since times and rules changing, I acquired this from the Poles, Joey Pole and Joey Pole Senior. Basically just taking my time on it, trying to get it to the point where I go up to Lee Speedway and have some fun in their sportsman division, their late model sportsman division, and I'm just picking at it. I'm primarily into the open wheel cars now, the modifieds, but this is where I come from, is fenders, and we're just slowly putting it together. It has what some would know is a Camaro snout out of your late 70s Camaros, and the rest of it is completely manufactured.
So it's specifically built for racing. The only stock part is the front clip.
The front clip is just pretty much the rails are stock. Other than that, it's all fabricated. There's really not much for tubing wise that you buy out of the catalog on this car.
And what's it going to have for an engine?
It'll have a small block Chevy with a 2-barrel carburetor.
And you notice both pipes, exhaust pipes come out on the right side.
Yeah, that will have to be changed. They don't allow that now, but I'm going to try and get away with it.
You have to run mufflers. Does this have mufflers?
I don't want to give too much stuff away.
It will have mufflers. If Bob Watson has anything to say about it.
Yeah.
And would you use that seat in this car?
No, I have a seat right here. It's pretty much an older version of what that seat is come to. It's missing the head support system, but it's over in the other shop.
Well, great. And I'm sure this is going to be lettered really nice.
Yeah, it'll have some wild graphics on it. I mean, we're pretty far away from that, but we're working at it, just picking at it a little bit.
And is this car, this is tin?
The body is primarily all aluminum. The nose and tail are plastic.
Okay.
Steel wheels, and now they run an 8-inch treaded tire. I believe this is a 8-inch slick tire.
Now, people say that you're kind of a rough driver.
I guess.
What's your outlook, and how do you race?
I'm aggressive. You short track racing, you have 9 times out of 10 you got 25 laps to get to the front. And, most of the time, anybody that's done anything starts in the back, so you have to get to the front. Some people don't like my style of driving because they may get a banged up or a fender or a tire mark or something, but I'm not really the one to go up and particularly put somebody right straight in the fence, and I'm not out there to hurt nobody, but I'm trying to get to the front.
And how do you decide what you're going to do? Is if somebody's just as fast as you, or if somebody's slower than you and they're blocking you, is that when you decide you got to move them out of the way a little bit?
If somebody's just as fast as me, 9 times out of 10, I just have to wait for their mistake and I'll get by them. If somebody's, it's happened, if somebody's in slow and you give them, everybody says, I think I wait a couple laps to give them a chance, but most people, and they have video proof, I usually only give them about 2 corners, which is, if we're going into 3 and 4, that's 3 and 4, so that's one section of the track.
And you let them know that you're there first?
Yeah, I'll give them a little, you can use a little bit of the bumper, let them know that this is short track racing, so you just got to
And these, obviously, these cars don't have horns, so I guess this is called a horn.
Yeah, modified, which I usually race, which is, you can see right here, which is one of my used modified bumpers.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah, they call this the chrome horn.
So you have to replace your front bumpers quite often.
When I first started racing open wheel cars, not open wheel cars, I raced super modifieds. I didn't go through any bumpers in that, but when I first started racing modifieds, pretty sure out of 3 races we used 3 bumpers. So, and last year we did, I think it was 10 or 12 races, and I think I only used 2 bumpers. So I calmed that down a little bit. But I mean, I try not to wreck anybody, but there's some people out there that just, I don't know. I'm aggressive. I'm an aggressive driver. I don't know what more to say without incriminating myself.
Okay, we'll call it aggressive.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. I like that.
Well, great. Well, thanks for taking us on a tour of your shop and giving us the lowdown on how you do graphics and T-shirts and the car that you might be racing this year and the modified that you might be racing that you showed us the graphic of. And I think it's pretty enlightening for everyone watching the show. So there you go. There's the ins and outs of graphic design and a preview of what Steve's racing this year. Well, we want to thank Steve for letting us visit his shop. It was a very interesting visit. Next week, we're going to be visiting with a young lady, 17-year-old Kayla Cazares from Dunbarton, New Hampshire. And she's been racing for several years, starting with karting. I don't know if I want to call them go-karts, but karting. And she's now racing with the big boys. She raced at Lee Speedway. She intends to race at Canaan Speedway next year, or this year. And we're going to be visiting with her and her dad and mom at her shop. And she's going to explain to us what she's doing with her car this year, what her past is, her plans for the future. And just by talking to her dad, and I saw an article in the Union Leader last year about her, I think she's got a real bright future ahead of her. In the future visits, near future, we'll also be visiting with the promoter of Londonderry Speedway. If you didn't know, Londonderry's been closed for the last couple of years, but the promoter is opening it up again, a new promoter. They're going to be doing karting, what they call mini cups, which are small replicas of the cup cars that you see on TV, and they have a little flap in the roof, so that's how the drivers get in and out. And I believe he's going to be racing Legends cars. So we're waiting for the snow to melt, and we'll be going to Londonderry Speedway to visit with the new promoter and take a tour of the Speedway. So I want to thank everyone for helping us get this first show going. I hope you pass the show, knowledge of the show, along to your friends, and you'll be able to watch it on the internet as well as on Manchester TV, Channel 23. So thanks a lot.